Okay, thank you for that, Dotun. Okay, so like I stated earlier, I wouldn't mind if we make use of, emojis. If we're in a quiet place, let's unmute ourselves to also speak when necessary. All right, so yeah, this person is my namesake. And that's why I'm just blushing. I'm really happy. Okay, so Adeshile Esther is a highly skilled and certified theater artist with a wealth of experience in production, design, art direction, and theater arts. Currently, she serves as a teaching assistant for the production, design, and art direction department at Ebony Life Creative Academy. And she is the technical lead at Ankara and Black Playhouse. Esther is a versatile professional. Hello? Okay.
Yeah, with you.
Esther is a versatile professional, excelling as a production designer, art director, actor, dancer, singer, and stage manager. She discovered her passion for stage acting early in Lagos and honed her skills in theater and media arts at the Federal University, Oye, Ekiti. Her commitment to grassroots theater and narrative storytelling has been evident throughout her academic and professional journey. With over a decade of experience in theater arts and 4 years in filmmaking and film education, Esther has collaborated with prestigious institutions like Ebony Life Creative Academy, Rare Hedge Media, and Thespian Family Theater. She has supervised the production of over 50 student films, wow, and more than 10 product commercials, while also contributing to 3 short films, music videos, and over 15 theater productions. Esther aspires to become a renowned filmmaker, focusing on conceptualizing and developing films that showcase African stories. So that's a bit about, about Esther, and she's going to be our speaker for today. She's actually focusing on production design and film. I wouldn't know if she has joined the call. Please, I'm trying to check if she's on the call already. I'm not
Just
sure.
in some minutes now, in 2 minutes more.
Okay. All right. So, but you can see here that this person is really loaded. I wouldn't know if maybe some of us have probably done a bit of research about her. If you've done so, you can also let us know. But this person has over a decade of experience, and when I checked a bit about her, talking about, supervising some students for films, and then she has done a lot of commercials. This person is just loaded. This person is just loaded. And then 15 theater production. If some of us have probably gone online to Google her or probably even check her on Instagram, I think I did a bit of that. At first, you may not really know that this person, has that experience. But after taking a very close and solid look at some of those things which she has done, and then, going through a bit of her profile, like I was really amazed to see that. Like I stated earlier, if you are yet to follow us on social media, please do that now. If you don't do that, you are wrong. If you are yet to do that, you are also wrong. And please, let's all the posts that we've made in the past. If you also want to comment on those things, it would be nice for you to also comment while we are waiting for our speaker for today to do that. But before I move on, I wouldn't know if Tolu is still there, Tolu Hajayi, to just give us a tip of some of the things we learned yesterday, because yesterday it was just full of activities, it was full of life, it was full of several things. And if you are there, you can just let me know, because personally, I learned a lot of things like this, the key skills, for story development and directing. And the host of yesterday, focused so much on, on the production or direction of Kilboro. If you've seen Kilboro on Prime, you can also let me know. Personally, I've seen it. And I know Martins as well. Martins was one of those, I think he worked on the sound, right? If you've seen that movie, I just want to recommend the movie. Just go and watch it. But I can see that Tolu is still there. If you probably want to give us just a tip of some of the things that we learned yesterday.
Tolu is not here.
All right, that's fine. But
Here.
Courage did, so much things for us yesterday, from the color, like how you can, choose colors for, for your filmmaking, how you can ensure. Oh, okay. Yeah, our speaker is here. All right, Esther, welcome. I think she's still trying to join, but I can see her name already. Okay, so, but before then, I would just like to highlight some of the key things we learned during the workshop yesterday. The key skills for story development and directing. The first thing we learned is creativity, developing original ideas and innovative storytelling techniques. Then we learned about communication, how to convey our vision clearly, within the team. So if you probably have maybe an idea, there should be a better way for you to communicate such an idea. Then talking about leadership as well, how we can manage diverse team and also contribute positively within your department, even as maybe an actor, or I know this is particularly for arts and production design people. Then we should always look for better ways to solve problems. I think that was the last key skill that he mentioned. Okay, so I think Esther joined not quite long. All right, so welcome, Esther. We've read your profile, and I'm super excited that you are here. If you can hear me, Esther, in case you're a bit confused, I'm also Esther. All right, so welcome, Esther.
Hello, good evening. I'm so sorry. I don't know what is going on with my laptop, but I've had my preparation done since 7 and it just started misbehaving. I'm so sorry. I hope
Wow.
everybody can hear me.
Yes, I can personally hear you, and I'm sure that my team can also hear you as well. Okay, so like I stated earlier, we can always make use of the chat box. If you're in a quiet place, you can always unmute yourself to also interact well. All right, so over to you, Esther.
Thank you so much, everybody. I really hope that I could meet everyone before I started this presentation. My name is Esther. Well, let me say my full name like I love to say it. My name is Adeshile Esther Fabusoro. That's how I call my name. So I don't want people to call me just Esther. Pardon me if I'm in a very noisy because I'm in a very noisy area. So production design. I've been into production design for about 4 years. First, I started with education, learning on the job, and then I dived into it. So I would say I pretty much have. Let me not put myself in a very very high place, but I think I know a little bit about it. And I'm glad that there are a lot of people that are curious about it too. It is fantastic because it is just starting up in our industry, and it is like really, really, it is something that people overlook a lot. It is something that people overlook a lot. I'm glad that we are breeding, or well, not breeding because we're not animals, but we are bringing in people are bringing in new people who love the skill, and it is working out for people that have learned it in the past and are still learning. Welcome once again to Introduction to Production Design and Art Direction. So I think we can start with my first slide. Can you hear me? I hope you can.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I think we can start with the opening of the presentation. I'm sorry, guys, I've used most of the time that I'm supposed to use to talk and then get questions, but I think I would try to rush over it, and I hope with God on our side, there's a lot of people that understand. So, introduction. Film is a language of visual storytelling. Film cannot be overemphasized. I mean, film has started since a while back, and people have enjoyed it. So now, film is something that everybody wants to see. They want to watch it. They want to tell stories using film. And so the visual captured by the camera matters immensely. Your location, sets, costumes, lights, all work together to create a world on screen. And this world is a crucial part of telling your story. Now, production design mainly has to do with what your location looks like, what your set looks like, where your movie is set, where your character's world, basically, what your character is going to put on, the lights that help enhance your character's space, and so on and so forth. But that's more of what encompasses what production design is. The question of who, when, and where in your film world can majorly be identified visually with the help of production design. So these are the questions that production design actually answer. Who is this person? Who is your character? When? So when is this setting? Where is it happening? All these are what production design will help you say without you having to converse or having to use dialogue. Next slide, please. So now, who is a production designer? A production designer is considered the eye of a director. The production designer and the director work hand in hand. There's something called Trinity in film, and it involves the production designer, the director, and the director of photography, who is the cinematographer, who is also known as the cinematographer. So the production designer work hand in hand with the director, because whatever it is that the production designer is trying to create is the director's vision. So when the director gets the script, whatever is trying to say, or how he's trying to say it, he passes this message to the production designer, and the production designer therefore takes this idea and creates it visually. So this can be done through illustration, drawings, use of colors in the illustration, just to make sure the director understands what the word they are trying to create for the character. So the director has spoken, he has given his idea. The production designer takes this idea and uses it to create a word for the character. Now, he or she creates the visual plan of an entire production, the cinematic storytelling. So that's what all I just explained. It's like you have a whole plan. The director has a whole plan that he wants to create. He knows the character starts off as a child, they move to when he's a teenager. All this is a plan that the director has created in telling a character story. So the production designer now takes these ideas and now puts it into play and creates a visual plan for it, creating a world, the costume, the makeup, everything that has to do with the world of the character. So a production designer is responsible for interpreting the script and the director's vision for the film and translating it into physical environment in which the actors can develop their characters and present their story. This is well self-explanatory. So the work of the production designer starts from pre-production period, along with the director and the director of photography. This is the trinity that I've just spoken about. Making creative decisions for the story and creating visual metaphors with the use of color, space, and texture. Now, when the director has the idea for the script, he already knows what he wants to, the story he wants to tell with the script. He calls the production designer and the cinematographer or director of photography, and then they draft out a plan together on what lights are we going to use, where are you creating this, is it a warehouse, is it a room, is it a sitting room, wherever. And then the work of the cinematographer, the production designer doesn't come out without the cinematographer, because now the cinematographer is in charge of capturing this world and lighting it up, so to make it look beautiful. So whatever the cinematographer does doesn't look beautiful until the cinematographer captures it and brings it to life. Next slide, please. I hope I'm communicating. Please, I will need feedback from time to time, just so I know that I'm not just like talking. So the design elements that a production designer uses, these are the major criteria that this is something a production designer cannot do without. They cannot do without it. So we have research, we have color, we have space, we have texture, we have line, we have value, and we have form. But the most commonly used design elements are research, color, space, and texture. So these are the things the production designer use in order to achieve whatever visual plan that they come up with. It is very important. You can't miss one. That's how important it is, because one enhances one and it helps to just bring the work of the production designer to life. Next slide, please. Yes, so research. This is the most important aspect of production design. Well, basically the most important aspect of production generally. If you are going to create a film, research, you need to research immensely on whatever it is that you're trying to talk about, be it cancer, especially when it is a timepiece. Maybe if you're trying to talk about the past, maybe like 1990s, 1800s, this you need to make a whole lot of research, right? So research, this is the most important aspect of production design, because a production design cannot work without having to research. A production design work must be authentic. It has to be authentic. It is it is very important. It is called mise en scène. If something is missing, then it's no longer a complete story. It's no longer a complete scene. If you do not research well as a production designer, your audience tend to leave your story, because if you've created a world, you've created a plan, you've created a world for the character. But now, if you have created the world of a character who is a a very organized person, you have already established the fact that this person has OCD basically. So everything must be in place. It has to be arranged. You open to a scene, you have a wardrobe, you have to have researched what what's the OCD sickness or illness entails. What do they do? What people that have this disease? Not disease, but I think they call it a mental issue, or a mental thing. So people that have this, what do they? You know that when you hear OCD, it means that they are very obsessed with something, either maybe the cleanliness of something, how they fold their clothes, how they arrange their house. So there are different types, mind you. It now depends on what you are trying to talk about. That's where research comes in. So you research about these things, and you have to. So if you're talking about somebody that he arranges his wardrobe by colors, and you suddenly now see in another scene, you have seen a scene where the camera opens, and we see a scene where the wardrobe, the word of the character is shown to us, and then the his or her wardrobe is lined with clothes arranged by colors, right? And then you now see another scene where the wardrobe is mixed, the colors in the wardrobe is mixed. There has to be a reason for that. Because you've already established, and if the type of OCD you're trying to talk about is that type of OCD, the arrangement of colors, everything is together by color, you need to give a reason why it is not arranged by color if you are showing that in another scene. That's where research comes in, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So after reading and understanding the script, the next phase, this is the next phase, yes. Once the desired look and feel of the movie has been decided, it is up to the production designer to make it happen. This process begins with research, right? The production designer helps identify which places and assets will be needed to create the right atmosphere for each scene. So that's that about research. Research is very important. It is what helps and aids production designer. It is what helps and aids a film production, basically. Because if you are trying to tell the story of a living person, for instance, Fela is a legend that everybody knows, and if you are trying to tell his story, you need to research and go back in time, speak to families, talk about a whole lot of things that Fela had in his life, right? And this can be, you can read books from libraries, you can talk to his family members, you can talk to people close to him, you can read news about him, there are a lot of things. You can go online to search. There are a lot of places you can make research. Sometimes some people have to go to the place of an event. I don't know, I need to give an example. I don't know if a whole lot of people, I know this is like a Christian thing going on, but I'm trying to see some movies I can make reference to that everybody has seen. I don't know if a whole lot of people have seen Black Panther, but Black Panther is like a world on its own. It is an imaginative world, right? And it is it is an imaginative world, but it is based off on the story in Africa. So for 8 months, the crew members had to come to Africa to make research. These people were people from the United States. They literally only read about Africa. They only heard about Africa. So they had to come witness Africa before they could actually put things into play. Next slide, please. Yes, according to Lobruto, research reveals specific design information and presents the scope of history so the production designer can select what elements are needed to express the content of the film design. The production designer has to read and interpret the research in reference to the story. But don't be a slave to research. Always keep the objective of the design concept in mind. Yes. So yes, when you research, you make in-depth research. There are a lot of things you would find out, but there are a lot of things that might also not help you tell your story. So you also need to pick things that enhances your story alone. You don't necessarily have to. If you're talking about if you're talking about elections, you know that major election process elements are maybe election posters, election banners. Those things are little things. They do other things for election, right? But the things that actually help you tell your story, that partakes to the story, is what you need to pick out and then use. Next slide, please. So I don't waste a lot of time. Okay, great. Color. Color is it is another aspect that is very important. Color is how you brighten the world of your character. It helps you bring the world of your character to life. Imagine telling your story in black and white. You might be able to pass your message, but imagine now putting in color into your story. This just brightens up the world of your character. So for a production designer, color is a vital part of communication. Of communicating a visual language in a story to an audience. Now, color in film is more than aesthetics. It is not just I want to put something here to beautify the space. Color has a whole lot of message that it tells that it passes in filmmaking. So the use of color can evoke the mood or set a tone for a film. Right. The use of color can evoke a mood. So if you are trying to tell a sad story, if you are trying to tell a sad story, mostly in filmmaking, you use dark colors, black, dark browns, dark red, dark blues. This helps you create a tone and a mood for your story. Now, if you're trying to tell a very happy story, comedy, or maybe animations, yes, let me say animations. Animations, if you notice, are for children, and they come in bright colors because they are meant to elevate the spirit and the mood of children. So yes, color can communicate time and place. Color can define characters and establish emotions, mood, atmosphere, and psychological sensibility. So, if usually, if you are trying to talk about somebody in mourning, we lean more towards black. Some cultures lean towards white, right? That is a color. So now imagine somebody in mourning and you are putting the person in yellow. There has to be a reason why that person is in yellow, because especially if the person is a spouse of somebody that has died, or a child to somebody that has died in the film. So it has to, your colors will tell a whole lot of story. If you are putting the character in yellow, you have to know what probably the character probably is not close to the person that has died, or the character is happy that this person has died or something. You have to give a meaning to whatever color that you give to your character. Now, so to create atmosphere and mood, emotions, now define characters. Some characters, Superman has a certain color to him. His color is red, yellow, and blue. So most of the time when children watch those kind of things, they are pretty into it because it is colorful, and then they outrightly know that it is for Superman. So there are three main components of color. They include hue, saturation, and brightness. Next slide, please. Great. Hue. This is the color itself. It is the major color, whatever it is, whether it's yellow, blue, red, black, white, whatever color it is, that we call that color hue. It is it's what distinguish a color from another. So the main colors that we have is called hue. The main colors that we have is called hue. Now, saturation, the intensity or purity of the color, or the amount of gray that is mixed into the color. So saturation is more of when you add gray to a certain color, you see it saturate. It doesn't give the exact color that it should give. It doesn't give the exact color that it should give. So this shows that the color is not pure anymore. This shows that the color is not pure anymore. Why? For value. Value is how dark or light a color is. So value is more of is it a light shade of red or a dark shade of red, a light shade of blue or a dark shade of blue. That's what we call value. Next slide, please. I hope you're with me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we have you.
So the color wheel. Now, this is a major criteria for picking colors for filmmaking. This is a criteria that filmmakers use in picking colors. And the color wheel has the primary colors, the secondary colors, and the tertiary colors in it. So a color wheel is a circular swatch of color hue that shows the relationship between primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. The color wheel allows the viewer to discern the different color combinations. So this is where filmmakers pick colors from, right? And the different color combinations of the color wheel, it's called color theory. The complementary, the monochromatic, the analogous, the triadic, and the tetradic. Next slide, please. I would explain what that is to you. So now, color palette. Picking a color palette for a movie is very important. This could make or break a movie, because if you pick a color that doesn't explain or give the mood of your genre of film, it can make or break your movie, because now you get feedback from audience, but you can't go out explaining to your audience that, oh, I meant to do this, but I'm sorry, we had to pick this color. But what we were trying to say is we were trying to tell a story about a murderer, and we have decided that we want to use very bright colors, and your audience just cannot connect. There is no way, except, okay, maybe you grant interviews later, but now your movie is out there, people are watching it, they've given all the reviews, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you start explaining, then I don't even think it works like that anyways. So it helps set the mood and the tone of a movie. It is also called the color scheme. So let's start from the first one. Monochromatic. The word mono means one. So that is the use of a single base hue or color in different shades, tints, and tones. So it is you picking one color. Take blue, for example. There are different shades of blue. You have the sky blue, the dark blue, there's emerald blue. Well, I don't know. There are a lot of blues that are like flying around these days. So now picking blue and using it to design a set in different shades. No mixture of colors, nothing, just blue. That is what we call monochromatic color. Using just a single base color in different shades and tones. Now, shades of colors are darker and tints are lighter. This is used to depict harmony and togetherness. Yes. So when you are trying to depict harmony, the best use of color for that type of scene is using the monochromatic color, because you see that when they are trying to say that people are together, right? You see everybody wearing the same thing, the same color. That's what helps pronounce or depict harmony. An example of the film with the color scheme is Matrix, making use of shades of green. I don't know, Matrix is a very old movie. I don't know if a lot of people have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but this is a movie that made use of monochromatic color. Next slide, please. Now, complementary colors. These are opposite colors on the color wheel. So colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel are complementary colors. So this color represents conflict. So purple and yellow are opposite each other on the color wheel, and blue and orange, red and green. So if you're trying to create a difference between two two parties or two places, this is the best color that you can use. All right, it is used to create to represent conflict or depict conflict. Now, these colors offer high contrast in the film's representation of characters and themes. Complementary colors is one of the most used color scheme that we have right now. It is mostly used because now this helps you create a balance and a difference in your movie. Moving to analogous colors. Analogous colors are group of three colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. These are a group of three colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. So you have the color wheel. So if you pick three colors next to each other on the color wheel, these are known as analogous colors. Right. They are made up of one dominant color, usually a primary or secondary color, then a supporting color, a secondary or tertiary color, and the third color that is either a mix of the two first colors or an accent color that pops. So kindly take the screen back to the color wheel so that I can explain this better. Great, thank you. So when you're talking about analogous colors, you can make use of yellow, red, and orange. These are next to each other on the color wheel. It could also be orange, yellow. It could be red, orange. These are also types of colors, but they are tertiary colors, right? Just so I emphasize it again, we have primary colors, and these are what forms the basic colors that we use in mixing other colors, which is yellow, red, and blue. So these are the primary colors. And then the secondary colors are green, purple or violet, and orange. And then every other one is a tertiary color. The red, orange, the yellow, green, those are tertiary colors. So you can pick any three colors close to each other on the color wheel. So it could be primary colors and secondary colors. It doesn't have to, you don't necessarily have to use the tertiary colors. So it could be yellow, orange, and then red. So yellow and red now are primary colors. The only secondary colors, the only secondary color there is orange. But these are close to each other on the color wheel. So they are known as analogous colors. So we can go back to the slide. Thank you. Great. Triadic colors. Tri means three. So these are use of three colors that are evenly spaced around the color wheel. So if you pick one color in the triadic color scheme to be the dominant, then use the other two as complementary colors, right? So triadic colors, the three colors that are evenly spaced are the yellow, the red, and the blue. They are evenly spaced on the color wheel because they have three colors each in between them on the color wheel. Please can you take it back to the color wheel again? Because I think it is important to use the color wheel to explain better so that people understand. So yes, so you have three colors between yellow and red, and then three colors between red and blue, three colors between blue and yellow. So they are evenly spaced. Another evenly spaced color is green, orange, and violet. If you notice, once again, they have three colors in between. So this is what we know as triadic color. We can go back to the slide. Thank you. Yes. So when triadic color schemes aren't as common as the others, but you often see them in superhero films like Superman. Yes, I already made mention of this, making use of red, blue, and yellow. So when the scheme is used well, it gives a comic book feel. So these are mostly used in comic stories. So example of words that define triadic colors is vibrant, yet balanced, and evenly matched. Now, tetradic colors. Tetradic colors is the use of 4 colors on the color wheel. You can make use of any 4 colors on the color wheel. So tetradic colors, sorry, are bold with the use of 1 primary color and 3 accent colors. So you can use tertiary and secondary colors to complement it. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is an example of monochromatic color used. This is a scene from Matrix, and you can see there that it is different shades of green. Even the overall look of the scene is green, and you can see underneath it is the different shades of green that they have used. I hope we understand that. Also, there are examples of monochromatic, complementary, analogous, and triadic colors on the color wheel. So next slide. Great. Other types of colors are also discordant colors and associative colors. Now, discordant colors. These are colors that you use to create contrast. Unfortunately, I don't have like a picture that further explains it. But when you're trying to create a scene that you want to make use of a discordant color, you make that color stand out. So an example is somebody putting on a red costume in a white room, a white wardroom, all around. So the first thing you see is the character that is putting on the red costume. That is discordant colors. So this type of color is used to draw the audience's attention to something, maybe a character or an object or whatever it is that you're trying to talk about. So discordant colors draws the audience attention to it. So it's not you putting the character in a fully furnished apartment, but not everything has the same color. Now, the character has to be totally different from your background, or the object you are trying to show as a discordant has to be different from your background entirely. Now, associative colors. We've seen movies that you see a character wear a particular color from beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. That's associative color. So you associate the character with a certain color. So when you see that color, you know that, oh, this is the person, this is the character, maybe the character is going to come or something. In a movie called Godfather, death was associated with orange. Death, as in death, is associated with orange. Now, this is not your typical identity for death. Usually you identify death with black, but they have decided to identify death with orange. But now they announce the death before it comes. So it means that if you see orange in the scene, it means that somebody is about to die in that scene. So it means that that color has announced the action before it even starts. That is an associative color. So giving a character a certain color, maybe you give a character blue. Now, sometimes this color can change in shade or tint. So the color can be lighter or it can be darker, depending on the character's arc. So if you start a color, if you start a scene or the film with your character putting on very deep shade of red, or maybe the normal color, the normal red that we have, and you want to show how the character has changed over time. Maybe something happened to the character. Maybe his family died or something, and you just want to show the character, that the character's mentality has changed, or maybe the character is going mental or something. You can change the shade of red that you give to the character. So this shows a progression of your character's mental state, right? This shows your character's mental state. So it comes from maybe a very light red, almost pink, to a very dark shade of red. So next slide, please. I don't know if I still have more time. Should I keep going? I see that I'm past 9 o'clock. I'm sorry. Hi, Esther. Do I keep going?
Yes, sure. If
Yes.
you still have more things to share, yes.
Oh,
We are not
okay.
tired to listen to
Because
you.
yeah,
Yes,
I
thank
know
you.
I had like an hour time and I already used 30 minutes trying to sort this situation. Okay, space. Right. Um, space is the word of the character, basically. Space is where the character exists. Space is where the character thrives. So space, the character in a film exists in the context of the space in which they appear. So this is what you are, the word that you have given to your character. So space tells time and period. Space will tell you the time and period because there were some things that were happening in the past. Like there were some space. Okay, let me say interior designs of spaces in 1990s is different from now, 2024. In 1990s, I don't think you had like um, POP roof and all that. But now in 2024, that's the first thing you see in majority of homes. So space will tell you that. Space will tell you, space will depict the economic status of somebody. If the person is staying in a one-room apartment or the person is living in a mansion, space will tell you that. If this person is just somebody that is comfortable or somebody that is a billionaire or a millionaire, space is what will tell you that. So space is the first thing you see before you see your character. Space is the first thing that tells us about your character before we even see the character. So space has a lot to say without the use of dialogue. If you are trying to tell us about a little girl's room and we see the room, it is all painted in pink. We have posters of Barbie or Snow White and all that on the wall. Nobody needs to tell you that this is the room of a little girl. So you even know it before like anybody says anything about it. Now, if we're showing, I gave an example of somebody with OCD before, and we're trying to show this person's space, and you open the scene with a very neat home. Nothing is out of place. Things arranged in colors. You don't need to tell anybody. The audience automatically in their mind already know that, okay, this person probably has a problem with arrangement. So don't come and mess with the space or anything. So if they come and say, oh, the person that stays in this house has obsessive compulsive disorder, you already know. You cannot argue. Nobody will argue with you if you have said it, because your space already told the audience that before we even see the character. If you are showing somebody's living room and you open the scene, we see first of all frames of a married couple, all lovey-dovey. You have about 4 or 5 frames, and you know automatically that the home that these people are showing you right now is the home of a married couple. So nobody needs to tell you. These are the little things that the production designer has to like do, because for production designers, we say we don't tell, we show, we don't tell. So if you want to come to me and tell me something, don't tell me, just show me. Give me an example of what you want to say with pictures, right? So space depicts location. Space depicts location, whether it is Lagos, whether it is Ibadan, whether it is Abuja. So if you are trying to talk about Lagos, and you see Danfo buses, nobody needs to tell you that this is Lagos, because we don't have Danfo buses in other places. And even if we have, they probably are not yellow buses. But now, if I now show you a place or a road that has the mikra, the brown and cream mikra, we automatically know it is Ibadan. Or maybe I show you brown roof. Ibadan is known as the brown roof city. So space will tell you this without even having to, yes, space will tell you this without even having to like say anything to anybody. So space will do that. Space can express power, oppression, freedom, fear, joy, paranoia, and a lot of emotion, moods, atmospheres based on relationship between characters and their environment. So you know that if we're trying to show somebody that is very dirty, the first thing we show is their space and how the person has interacted with his or her space. How dirty is this person? What is this person dirty? What is like what is this person's level of dirtiness? Is it piling up of dirty clothes, piling up of dishes, a lot of things, not sweeping, or maybe somebody is depressed and mopping, or somebody is going through an heartbreak, and you are trying to show what the person is going through, and this person has decided not to stand up from his or her bed. Automatically, you know that you need to show something that shows how depressed this person is. So maybe you can start with dishes, this person is not standing up from the bed. The person is probably eating, but not standing up from the bed, which means if I'm eating and I'm not standing up from the bed, I'm piling up dishes close to my bed. These are little details that production designers need to put into consideration. Now, to show that somebody is oppressed or paranoid or something, space will tell you. So, you know, this is how space and color works hand in hand, right? Space and color will tell you all these things. Let's move to the next slide so that I can take questions. Let's move to the next slide, please. Okay. I don't know. Okay, great. Thank you. Texture. Now, texture. Usually texture is one of the hardest to explain because some people usually do not understand texture as much. But texture is critical in creating authenticity. Um, Texture is what, okay, let me just read. Authenticity, evoking age, wear, use, and passage of time, and reflecting the result of environmental conditions on a surface. So when we talk about texture, texture is what makes something unique. It is what makes whatever it is that you're trying to, the story that you're trying to tell, dynamic. Um, you need to be authentic about whatever it is that you do. So texture will help you do that. Yes, you have color, yes, you have space, but texture is a different angle because texture will show how old something is, how new something is. So if you come and say, oh, this person just newly bought a car, not a fairly used car, a brand new car. When you show us the car, it has to be brand new. That's texture. When you show us the car, it has to be brand new. That's texture. Um, Texture is not just about objects, though. It also has to do with costume. When you are trying to do show how maybe the wear and tear of clothes. So if you are trying to show that somebody has been wearing these clothes over time, you know, you have wool coming out from their costumes. The costume is rough. Maybe this person is somebody that is not rich, so you show how, or somebody that lives in a ghetto and is not usually neat. You know that this person probably might not have a very clean clothes to wear at the end of the day. So texture will help you do this, right? Texture will show how shiny, how rough, how soft, how hard things are. So now, if let me talk about texture pertaining to a space. When we talk about space and texture, we know that if people are living in a space for a number of years and probably they are not repainting, even if they are repainting, though, probably they are not repainting. You can tell from their walls because people touch walls and then you have dirty handprints on walls, whether white or black or pop. I don't know. People don't really paint their rooms black, but I mean, whatever color it is, you at the end of the day, you see um you see dirt on the walls, maybe from people's heads, you know, people that put on hair cream and everything, and you put your head to the wall, those kind of things. If you are trying to show a switch, if you're trying to show a switch in a house that have been lived for a while, of course the switch will not be brand new, because you know that people have been pressing the switch on and off for a while. So you have to make sure that the switch is maybe not too old, but at least it has like wear and tear, it has dirt, it has like brownish things on it. So this will also show that people have been living in the space, right? You notice that sometimes the upper part of your walls are cleaner than the lower part. That's still because of people's movement around the wall area. So that's how, so these are things that the production designer has to create. Even if you are getting to a space and you are painting it newly, you have to create that texture. So texture, you can create it by using paints. You can create it by using coffee stains. You can create it by just those jets that you have, those debts that you have on your walls, and just you can create it by using all those things. If you're trying to um if you're trying to show the use of money, okay, this money has passed from hand to hand, from hand to hand, from hand, of course you won't bring a new note in. And especially if you are printing the notes, it is not real naira notes, and you're trying to print the notes. So you would have to age. Yes, that's what we call it. We age the money. So you of course make sure it is rough. You of course make sure it is dirty. So next slide. Oh, okay. Texture also shows the look and feel of a movie, which can be gritty. Sometimes you see like the overall feel of a movie is really brownish or dusty, kind of. It is called gritty. That kind of texture is called gritty. That's the overlook feel which the cinematographer and the editor has put together and put onto the screen over what the production designer has set up. So texture doesn't also is not limited to just things that the production designer puts on screen. It can also extend to what the editor and the cinematographer will help, like the filter that they will put on um, your scenes. Next slide, please. Okay, I believe this should be the last. This should be the last slide. Please, is this the last slide? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. So now this is film production charts, but we probably would just be talking about the art department, like the production. Yes, the art department. So obviously, if from the executive producer, we have the producer, and then the producer begin to employ people like the location manager, the casting director, production manager, and then they bring in the director, while the director will now bring in the assistant director and the second assistant director. So also the producer will now employ the other heads of department. Usually, in the Nigerian movie industry, the Nollywood industry, sometimes they bring people from like different from all walks of life is what I would say it is. So you bring people from different places and bring them and say, oh, okay, you guys are the arts department. So you bring costumier from a different place, the production designer from a different place. Though sometimes they get to work together, but they might not align. But we are of the opinion that um the producer employs the head of department, and then the heads of department bring in their people who they work with, because that helps form a dynamic and a very safe, I would say, department. So now the producer employs the director of photography, the sound designer, and then the production designer, which I want to talk about. So now the production designer will now employ the art director. I don't think I've spoken about the art director since I started. So now the production designer is in charge of creating the visual plan. But the art director, right, is in charge of executing it. So if the production designer has gotten the director's vision, he creates it, it draws all the plans out. He gives this plan now to the art director and gets the art director to now make sure that this plan comes to life on set. The production designer also employs, sometimes we have the assistant art director if it is a big production. We have the assistant art director also, which assists the art director, of course. Or sometimes when we have like a lot of scenes that needs to be set up, we have the art director on one location, and then maybe the assistant art director on another location, or they set up for the location, and the art director says, oh, you assistant director, be on this set since we're done with setup. Just keep everything calm, make sure that everything is working. I'm going to the next set so that we can set up. Now, they also employ, and the production designer also employs the props person. The props person, prop is called property. So it is called property. So it is everything that props is everything that the actor interacts with on set. Props is all the things that the actors interact with on set. So now there are also set dressing elements. There's a difference between props and set elements. Set elements are things that you use to beautify the set or arrange the set. So if you are creating a living room, you know that the set dressing elements are the chairs, the tables. These are things that you use to dress your set. Now the prop is, now you are bringing in a character and the character is on the phone. That phone is a prop because the character is interacting with the prop, right? The character is interacting with the prop. So then we have the costume. And then we have costume, of course, is in charge of designing and styling the character, designing the costumes and styling the character. So sometimes we have okay, before I go to costume, we have the prop. For props, we have prop master, we have prop handler, because sometimes the prop master is not on set. Sometimes he comes with the prop and he drops it, and then the prop handler is in charge of now taking charge of it. We have the props buyer. The props buyer is in charge of going to the set and no, to the market to buy the props. So now we have the costume. For costume, we have the costume designer. We have the costume handler or the wardrobe handler, who is in charge of the wardrobe. So the designer sometimes doesn't have to be on set, just design, make sure the tailors sews the costume, and then you give it to the wardrobe manager or wardrobe handler. So also it is actually important to have tailors on set so that in case of, okay, maybe there's anything going on, they are hands-on and quick to help you mend. Okay, now we also have the makeup person. So for makeup, we have the SFX makeup and the normal makeup person. So we have makeup, we have the makeup person come and do beauty makeup. But now the SFX person does, SFX is called special effects. The special effects person now is in charge of creating the wounds, the blood effects, all that. So that's what the SFX person is in charge of. So the costume, the props person, there's also, okay, sorry, let me not jump. So this is not on the tree, but we also have the set dressers. The set dressers are in charge of helping you dress the set. There are also set decorators. Set decorators help you decorate the set. They are not art directors and they are not set dressers. They are in charge of helping you also build your set and making sure they place the right things on set. But the set dressers are people that you call and say, oh, come, help me put this here, help me put this here, help me put this here. That's how it is. The set decorators are more of like interior decorators. That's how we view them basically. So the props master and everything that has to do with props, the set dresser and everything that has to do with set, all answer to the art director. They all answer to the art director, while the costume and the makeup persons answer to the production designer directly, because the art director does everything that has to do with set. So they execute the visual plan of the production designer by creating a set alongside the set decorator, the set dressers, the props masters. All these people answer to the art director. Now, the costume and the makeup person doesn't have to do with the set. So they answer mainly to the production designer. So basically, I think this is the end of my slide. Filmmaking is very, very in-depth, and I don't know, it is very extensive. It is not something that we can do within a few minutes or a few hours. So majorly, what I say is every scene of your movie has to tell a story. Every scene, I mean, of your movie has to tell a story. What story are you trying to tell here? What is the mood of this character? What is the mental state of this character? What are you trying to, what is the theme that you're trying to portray? I believe everything has to have a story. Basically, everything has to have a story. You have to have reasons why you put some things there. You have to have reasons why you are making use of a color, reasons why you are making use of a space. And at the end of the day, when it all comes together, it is pretty rewarding. Trust me, it is a very rewarding a very rewarding thing to do, because at the end of the day, I can assure you that production design will stress you. I can assure you that it will stress you, but it will, at the end of the day, when you are done and you see the result of what you have created, you sit back and you laugh and you smile at what you have managed to accomplish. That's how beautiful production design can be. So I think now I can quickly take questions. I'm way past my time. I can quickly take questions within 10 minutes, and then I am out of your hair. So any
Okay, thank you
questions?
so much, Esther. All right, do we have any question? Okay. So in case we have any question, I think it would be nice for us to quickly ask. I think we've taken a lot of time already.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I think it was as a result of what happened earlier. Okay, so someone dropped a message here that you mentioned about space, right? You said
Yes.
it can actually express emotions and moods. So how do you set up a happy home when creating, your film?
So I think because of time, I could not talk about the interpretation of colors. Colors have different meanings, and these meanings are what helps sometimes also help you tell your story. So if you are trying to create a happy home, like a place that is devoid of any bad energy, or let's start from creating, maybe it's a family of 6 or something. Let's start off from creating um frames and happy pictures of these people in this house that live in this house, this family. You see them in different pictures, happy. They are family people. You see everyone there smiling. So maybe we can start with that. And then the colors in their house is vibrant. It is not dark. You make use of colors like yellow, blue, those very vibrant colors. So in this light, you are able to tell how these people work together. Do you understand what I mean? You are able to tell how these people are together. There are frames for them. There are things that they have done together, probably awards that they have gotten arranged in the home. There is a lot of things going on, things that a normal home should have. But now it is, so probably they probably have issues from time to time, maybe the slight argument, little argument, but it doesn't also affect the energy in the home. So this is how you just make use of vibrant colors. Basically, if you are telling a happy story, colors like yellow are very happy colors. Colors like pink, colors like purple, very vibrant colors are what you need to use at the end of the day. So before they see the characters, they can already tell that, oh, these people are very happy persons. You don't need to tell us. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, but I think the person is also asking that, is red a happy color? And if yes, why is it that sometimes in some of these movies that they are depicting things like Shango and
Danger
all
and
of that?
everything. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
or danger. That
Okay, so
how do you
let
blend
me
things?
yes. So let me make you understand how color dynamics work. It's just people tend to use, now this is, you are the author of your own story, right? So you can use colors the way you want. But mind you, you also need to use colors that the audience can relate to. So when people use red is a vibrant color. Yes, it is. It is something that people see very fast. So that's why people tend to use it more for danger, for things. Even red also depicts hunger. If you notice, a lot of eateries use and restaurants use red as their logo, for their logo. I don't know if you've noticed, Mr.
Yes.
Biggs, so red can mean a lot of things to different people. It's the same way black means death to some people. Black can mean elegance to some people. White, that some people feel like it's pure. Some people feel like it is death. Some people feel like it is secretive. Some people feel like, so it is dependent on how you want to tell your story. The most important thing is if you are trying to use a certain color for your story, and you know that you are trying to use it well, try as much as possible to establish that color and make sure that the audience can understand that this color actually means these things without you having to use dialogue to say it. Do you understand what I mean? So red, yes, red is a vibrant color, but it is just colors that people have I don't know. I think it's a mentality thing where people when you see red, people automatically think danger, red, stop. So that's why you see it is vibrant, it is where people can see. That's why people use it for warning signs, because it is you are quick to see it. Do you understand what I mean? So I think it is most of the time when people use it for all these babalawo and things, it is just so that they are noticed, so that you notice that when people are trying to depict Ifa, it is white. So now, but because it is now a staple thing for people, now you coming and saying Ifa, I'm giving the Ifa person a red colored clothes. Now messes with people's brains and people's emotions, and they begin to question why that is so. So if you are trying to, it is okay to try to want to establish a color, but make sure that you establish it well enough for people to understand it and not have to question you or draw themselves out of your story. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, there's a thumbs up from here. Thank you so much, Esther. Okay, let me check. We don't have any more questions. All right,
Okay.
thank you so much. And for everyone who have stayed till the end of this workshop, I really want to say a very big thank you to you. All right, so I can see in the chat box, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I think there should be a part 2, but that will be discussion for another time. All right,
yes,
such
no problem.
no.
Thank
Okay,
you so
all right.
much for giving me this opportunity.
All right. I think that will be all for now. But if there's going to be any take home for me, I think it would be the first statement which you stated earlier, that a production designer is considered the eye of the director. All right. So let's have a wonderful night's rest. And yeah, the workshop still continues next week. For those that are still on the call, yeah, this is just for you. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.